another session of getting gritty with it. Yarif, how you doing?
Doing well, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good. And you know what? We're doing good because we have a superstar in the making for the Prince Albert Raiders in Landon Kosior. This kid is just climbing the draft board for good reason. He's a right-handed defenseman. For those that don't know him, he transitions with the best of them in his draft in particular, and he's only 17 years old. Landon, how are you? How's everything going?
Great. Thanks for having me on here.
Absolutely. And our first question that I really, and I'm sure the viewers would love to know, is what's your playing style? What type of characteristics? Like, how did you become this good that you're on the cusp of the NHL?
Yeah, so I'd say I'm a bit of a two-way defenseman. I like to take care of my own end, and then I think I'm a guy who can jump up in the rush, and I have a high IQ, so I can make good passes, and also I'm a power play defenseman too, so I can run a power play. So yeah.
Man, quarterback, huh? Like, you're not a quarterback in the NFL, you're a quarterback in the hockey league, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was actually watching some footage of yours leading up to this interview, and I noticed that you use some really nice plays like behind the back, little drop passes. I believe most of the highlights I saw were pre-WHL, but it looked to me like you were kind of ahead of a lot of the people there. Is there anything you do in particular, training-wise, that helped you prepare to get to the WHL? And now, obviously, you're going into your sophomore year after a very successful rookie year. I think you were plus 19 last year, which is very impressive in my mind for a 17-year-old. Is there anything you're doing in particular to kind of get yourself ready for next season?
Yeah, so right now I'm just working out at level 10 gym, it's called. We do a lot of agility training, getting the speed up, and then we do some lifting. And yeah, I just recently got back on the ice. Actually, the rinks just opened up here in Saskatchewan, so
Nice.
I've been training on the ice and a bit in the gym.
Sorry to disrespect you. Happy Canada Day to you. I know it's a belated Happy Canada Day. I was going to text you yesterday, but I was like, nah, I thought that was a little unprofessional and whatnot to say Happy Canada Day and whatever. But one thing in my mind, what I'd like hearing from you is how hardworking you are. And that's exactly what you said to him, and that's exactly what you told us before this previous call. You have to end at 1 because you have a workout at 1 o'clock. You have to hurry up and go. And looking behind you, you have a gym there, so it's like you work out like 6 or 8 hours a day, right?
Yeah, well, at the start of quarantine, I was working out here in my home gym because all the gyms are closed, and yeah, now I transitioned to an actual gym with a personal trainer. But yeah, when I'm not at the gym, I like to get out and play some tennis usually or golf just to keep myself active.
Cool.
Nice.
How's that golf game?
Oh, it's been better, but it's not terrible.
I hit a lot more. I get a lot more dirt from hitting the ball. Past 3 years, and I'm still. Oh man, just gets me so frustrated. I just feel like patting the club down sometimes.
Yeah.
It is what it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to piss me off, but golf, it definitely can be.
That's why they call it a. That's why they call it a stroke, right? Because every time you miss, you feel like you're gonna have a stroke. You know the feeling.
I think I had 30 strokes on just from dirt.
So I guess my question to you is, you're trying to get obviously into the toughest league in the world, right? The NHL. What do you see as your biggest barrier to get there? I mean, you have pretty good size. Again, being a right-handed defenseman is a huge benefit. There aren't enough of them to some degree. And having a two-way game is really important, in my opinion, to make it to the NHL, the bare minimum. What do you see as your biggest barrier to get there?
I think just my strength. I got to be working in the gym because obviously everyone's a lot older, a lot bigger. So I got to get a lot bigger myself, and just be able to adapt to the speed, how fast it is in that league, and just training myself in the summers, getting used to faster speeds and bigger guys.
And just so the viewers know, you come from a hockey family. Your dad was a very good scout for the Chicago Steel, and now he's a head scout for the Des Moines Buccaneers, correct?
Yeah, he's just a scout, not a head scout, but yeah, he's a scout.
I mean, so hockey runs in your family. Is there a lot of pressure to succeed? I'm sure your dad aids you into the right direction and helps you and helps motivate you. But is there a lot of pressure, being how successful your dad is throughout the sport of hockey?
No, I wouldn't say there's too much pressure. I mean, my dad's great. He's always there. He's my number one fan. Him and my mom, they're always supporting me. So he's always there for me. He doesn't put any added pressure or anything. He's one of my biggest supporters. So yeah.
Does he take a lot? Is there a lot of video that he takes of you to like help aid your game in that direction?
Well, we have WHL Live, so we can go back and watch any game.
Cool.
And I have sat down with him before, and we've gone over some video, yeah, and just watched the games. He gives me little tips here and there.
He sees how flashy you are, so it probably puts a smile on his face.
Yeah, I don't know. He's pretty proud, so yeah.
Now, as far as I guess where you're at as this upcoming draft comes, do you feel like maybe you missed some opportunity losing these games? Obviously, the entire world is dealing with COVID, right, and the virus and the shutdowns, and obviously it impacted your training to some degree, right? Not weightlifting, but maybe on the ice. Do you think that maybe you lost a little bit of opportunity to kind of highlight your game as you evolved? Because these 4 months probably would have been a big opportunity for you. And at the age of 17, you have a lot to grow, a lot to show here. Do you feel like you lost, or do you feel like you can make up all of that in the upcoming season?
Yeah, I guess it was probably a little disappointing to lose the playoffs. That would have been a big event and good for our team. Our team was definitely kind of coming on hot at the end there, so it would have been nice as a team. But I think anything I missed, I should be able to make up next year, so it shouldn't impact me too much because it impacted the whole world. So I think we're all kind of at the same spot, and it's who's going to work the hardest during this quarantine, really.
I like that. And by work the hardest, is that something you strive to be? Like somebody who relies more on, not more, but relies heavily on work ethic, not just your natural ability?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to a good mix. You gotta have the skill, but you also gotta be a hard worker. You can't just float through it. And yeah, I think if you're a skilled guy and you got a good work ethic, you got a good shot.
That's cool. So you used to play midget hockey with Roddy Ross, a goaltender now for the Regina Pats. How tough? Can you explain your relationship with him? And was it very tough to score on him?
Yeah, so I didn't really know him too much coming into the season because he kind of just came out of nowhere. He was playing Junior B the year before, so none of us knew him. But yeah, he's a great guy. I talked to him recently too. He kind of just gives me a little tips here and there, and yeah, he's a great guy. Great family too. He comes from a great family, and he's. I remember in practice, I'd always get so mad I could never score on him, and we would all be the same. And he just never could score on him. I don't know what it was, but.
Yeah. How many sticks you go through in practice? Probably about 40 of them, right?
Yeah.
Six crossbars.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's done a lot for our site and stuff, and he's on our radar, of course. But he's just an overall. You could just tell his sense of determination, and that's what I see in you, and that's why we're very happy to have you on, because the way you talk is sort of how Roddy talks, and you could tell how determined you are, and how determined you are to to not only make the NHL but the AHL, pro hockey. Was this always a dream of yours? Did you ever think that your dream could actually come true?
Yeah, it's always been his dream of mine for sure since I was a kid. But yeah, I don't know. It really didn't come into reality, I guess, until this past season when I started getting ranked, I guess. Yeah, it's always been a dream as a kid. I remember I'd go to WHL games when I was only 3 or 4 years old, and I always dream of playing there one day, and now the NHL. So it's always been a dream.
Yeah, it's neat.
That's so cool, man. And just to be able to be a kid and then grow into that position and get to that point. Is there any player you grew up kind of modeling your game after? It doesn't have to be necessarily an NHL player, but I guess most of the times it would be an NHL player. Is anybody you kind of model yourself after?
No, I wouldn't say there's just one guy. I think I kind of like to pull bits and pieces from everyone growing up. But I'd say more recently, my playing style kind of resembles Ethan Bear almost.
Oh, nice.
Nice, good choice.
It is a good choice. It is a very good choice. Was there any particular player from the past that you looked up to in terms of like say the 70s, 80s, 90s of hockey, like Nick Lidstrom, for instance, or something? Like, did you grow up watching him?
I remember a bit of him. I was still pretty young, so I don't have too many vivid memories. But I know my dad. He's a big Bobby Orr fan. So
Oh, wow.
I've heard a lot about him and seen a lot of things. But yeah, I grew
That's
up in
what
a Bobby Orr
yeah.
household. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
That's cool. That's where I was getting at. Family leading you in a direction. Like, so what you're telling me is I have to hold off on my 2-year-old son until you're out of the NHL, because nobody's going to realize, who he is until you're out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you listen to like any type of music before you hit the ice, say for practice or even for workouts and stuff? Do you have any type of favorite music genre that you like?
Yeah, so in the room we usually play like some rock or electronic kind of music, but yeah, I'd say my favorite is rock, and then on off days I like country. I'm a country music fan on the off days, but before games I'm definitely a rock guy.
Who do you listen to for rock?
I like Nirvana, and I
Oh
like
Oh
some
man,
wow.
AC/DC.
hold on. You just got done telling us, oh, I don't really know, but here you're throwing all these great bands out there. No, it's
Yeah,
awesome, man. I love
yeah,
AC/DC. My friend is really good at karaoke. He can really do AC/DC pretty good. Are you
yeah.
good at karaoke?
I haven't gone into that too much, but I know a few AC/DC songs. I probably wouldn't do too bad.
Nice, nice.
So I guess my question back to hockey a little bit here. Is there a particular playing style that you prefer? Like, obviously you have your influences, and then you have your father's influence, I assume, right? Because he's kind of there giving you that. Is there a kind of, I don't want to say pick a team in the NHL because that really doesn't matter, but is there a kind of a style that you like to incorporate, right? There are teams that play a heavier game, teams that play a quicker game, quicker breakouts. Like, what do you think you excel better in more physical game, more, I guess, speed like game with faster breakouts, executions, or, you're the type of guy you really just see yourself as I am a utility guy and I can do pretty much anything you throw at me?
Yeah, I think what you said there at the end, I could play I think in any system. I'm a good skater. I'm a fast guy, but I can also play a physical aspect if it's needed. So yeah, I think I'd be able to fit in pretty much any playing style.
That's cool. So, is there a team that you grew up kind of watching, that you maybe dreamed in the back of your mind that you one day get drafted by them?
Yeah, well, I was actually a Canadians fan growing up because my dad was a Bruins fan, so he kept the rivalry in the house. But
The
yeah, so
irony.
we had just that rivalry going. But yeah, I was a Canadians fan growing up.
It's a
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful city. Go ahead.
and I'll tell
Yeah,
Sorry,
you,
Jamie.
the Bruins are a very good team. So your dad definitely knows his stuff. That's for sure. So,
yeah,
'cause
yeah,
the Bruins, I'm sorry, but it just seems year after year like they do very well with scouting. They put the best team on the ice that they possibly can, even with them being against the cap. Somehow they're very good with drafting, much like the Pittsburgh Penguins, and where the Flyers are at right now in terms of drafting. I guess one of my biggest questions to you is you're very good with zone exits. You could cleanly exit the zone. It seems to me at ease. I know it's pretty difficult on the ice for you, but it appears that you're very good that way. But is there anything that you think that you need to work on in part of your game to improve to possibly make the AHL or NHL when you get drafted by a team?
yeah. I'd say first off, just getting stronger so I can play better in my own end. Pinning guys on the wall and being able to box guys out. And then I think another thing is just add a little more deception into my game. Just everyone's so much smarter as you move on, and you just got to have that deception to be able to make plays.
That's awesome.
And I assume that you're going to try to build on your numbers. I mean, you actually have, I mean, for a 17-year-old, to put up 5 goals, 18 assists, 23 points in 64 games, and a plus 19. I mean, I think that's pretty impressive for a 17-year-old because, again, like you said, you're not one of the biggest and the strongest or the oldest in that league. Do you think that you can, obviously, you're predicting a little bit, do you think you can build on that success and maybe up your numbers a little bit? Maybe bring your I don't want to say your attraction up. I mean, you're already ranked pretty high at number 98. I see here at Central Scouting, so I think that's even high enough. And if you look at history, most second, third round pick defensemen, I find there's a ton of success in that range. So those are the guys who might have maybe 1 or 2 things that they need to work on in their game. Do you see yourself as maybe producing, taking a bigger role with Regina down the line?
Yeah, it's Prince Albert next year.
Prince Albert.
I think, yeah, no worries.
That's the wrong name.
But yeah, I think next year I should be able to have a bigger role. I've been working hard in the summer. That's my goal, is to be a bigger role on the team next year. And yeah, I think if everything goes well, I should be able to put up some better numbers. And I hope we do great next year as well.
Is there a lot of I wouldn't say pressure, but is there for next season, being how weird it has been because of the pandemic and with COVID going on for good reason? I mean, people's health and stuff is far more important, but hitting the ice for next season, do you think it's going to be a lot more tougher for everybody in terms of rust, to shake that rust off? Do you find like the first few weeks, like you're really not going to get, like, you may not even get to see your game be where it's at? Do you think there's going to be an adjustment period?
I think it might be a little bit weird, but I think everyone's been on the ice, and it's a few months away, so I think everyone will be skating lots, and we'll have some practices before then. So I think if that does happen, it should only be maybe 1 or 2 preseason games that are kind of feel weird, and then everyone should be able to click right back into it, and should be normal.
Nice. I like that too. Is there a favorite food that you like?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big chicken and pasta guy, so any kind of pasta, any kind of chicken, I'll eat it.
I like that too.
Is that the same thing during the season, or do they limit you on what you can eat, like while you're in training, I guess, or while you're in playing season?
No, yeah, they're not too strict on us. I do like to eat healthy, but yeah, that's my pregame meal actually, is chicken and pasta. So
yeah, burn the carbs during the experience, I imagine, right, during the game itself. So you said you have a personal trainer. Is that a new thing, or is that something you've been doing regularly, I assume, since teenage years, or maybe even prior to that?
Yeah, it's actually the same guy. I've had him since I was, I think, 13. So it's the same guy. I've been with him every year. So.
And that's a comfortability level, I assume, right? Like, he knows your body, he knows what you're trying to work to. Is that something you plan to continue as you kind of roll through the WHL, right? Because you entered a new league now. I assume you're going to keep working with him moving forward.
Yeah, he's worked with WHL guys before too. He does hockey specific training in the gym and stuff. So yeah, I'll definitely keep working with him.
That's important.
Yeah.
I think we got time for one more here, Jamie.
In the summertime, do you focus more on skating or shooting? Because it appeared though that your shot was quite accurate this past year. Like not saying you would score, all the time or whatever, but it just appeared as though you were able to get pucks through. Did you really work on that this last summer? And are you going to continue that this summer?
Yeah, I'm always working on shots, walking the line, and just getting shots through traffic. That's one of the things we work on here. And yeah, I think it's important being able to find a lane, get the puck to the net, so the forward's got a chance to put in the rebound, even if your shot doesn't go in.
I like that, man. Dirty goals.
Yeah.
The greasy areas. I like that.
Well, I mean, and I think to that point, right, those are the key goals that happen, especially in the pros, right? Not every goal is going to be pretty. Sometimes it's just about getting it on net, right? Like you said, like walking that line. I mean, how many times have we seen that in hockey where just keeping that puck at the line is so important? I saw actually a great highlight of yours where you got to, there was an interception pass and you had to kind of skate your way all the way back, You managed to stop a 2-on-1 beautifully, and then you guys executed the puck out of the zone for a beautiful scoring opportunity the other way. I think it's those simple kind of plays that really help. Is that kind of your focus, is just to keep things, I don't want to say simple, but just to execute on your role sometimes and know that your team will take over, and maybe you can just make that simple pass and then the other players will help turn it into offense?
Yeah, for sure. I like to just keep it simple and make all the right plays, and you got to have trust in your teammates that they'll also do their simple play, make the right plays. So yeah, I think that's what I like to do, is just kind of keep it simple and trust in my teammates.
Love that.
That's great. And with that, Landon, we appreciate you coming on. And Flyers fans, this is Landon Kosior. I'm telling you, look for him, get to know him, watch this video over and over and over. Not just for, I don't care about the views, it's just to get to know him, because he is going to be something special, at the NHL level here in the next few years. And it's quite a story that he was able to even play on a power play in his first season for the Prince Albert Raiders. Sure. It shows, to be honest with you, this is why I'm so high on you as a prospect, is because there aren't many prospects that can just come in to a league, kill it like you did in your first year, because that first year you put up some very good numbers compared to some other prospects, but to also be a factor in on special teams, that's quite impressive to hear. And like to sign off, Landon.
All right, yeah. Thank you very much for having me, guys. It's an honor.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you having you on, and we're definitely rooting for you. We hope you all the success, no matter where you end up, that sky's the limit and that you hit what you're looking for.
Oh, thank you very much.
Stay safe, and thank you to you and your family as well, Landon.
Okay, thank you.